Hi, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are having a great day today. If you're new here, I want to welcome you to School of Scarlet, the School of Unconditional Love. And if you are a returning subscriber or returning viewer, thank you so much for tuning back in. I am so happy to have you back here today. So today we're going to be talking about the topic of manifesting. This is actually coming from a viewer question. And the question really was, how can you create something out of nothing? And the video was talking a little bit about manifestation and things like that. So I'm going to tie it into that while still explaining or giving my perspective of how I see things as being nothing. And I've talked a lot about this in my past videos. I did have a non dual realization where literally I wasn't experiencing anything, I wasn't even experiencing myself. So I didn't have a reflection of anything to even consider. So I was basically taken out of this whole entire reality back into, let's say, if there was time and space, back into beginning of creation, before creation. And so in that case, there is nothing and there is no reflection of anything until the moment that you have. And what happened was I was in that space for quite a bit. And if you're interested in that, you can read my awakening story. It's called Love, Death, Nothing. I have the book in my description down below. This all happened from a twin flame journey. So that's what that story is about. But when I was in that space, you literally don't feel anything. You don't feel separate. You don't even remember who you were, that there is others, nothing about that. You don't even know that you are something. And so I was in that space and it was very deafening. There was a lot of love there, but there was no noise. There was no anything until the moment that I realized I exist and what had happened. And from that, I came back. And so that moment has forever stayed with me and has not ever changed my perception of this world. Seeing that, I can't unsee that. So that alone lets me know how everything is. And this wasn't something that someone was speaking to me or that I heard a voice. It was like an internal knowing of something that has always been there, that I have always known, that has finally been released or remembered, really. So after that, it just switches. You don't see anything as physical matter. If anything, even the air, everything that you see, like the space in between things, is very clear that there's something there. You can feel something. The oldest noise, even in the quietest of rooms, there is so much noise. How do I know this? Is because I was experiencing literally nothing. And in nothing, it's very different than here. So when I had that experience coming back here, there was an internal knowing that did stay with me. And that internal knowing was that everything is not real physical matter. It's an illusion being projected out. So I don't want to go too far into that. But basically you can imagine it like a universal mind, imagining things, an infinite amount of things, because in an imagination, even as a person, you can imagine an infinite amount of things. It requires no real physical matter, money, anything to put together imagination. So you can imagine everything being like a universal mind, and everything is just being imagined in that moment. And as you imagine things, let's say when you're imagining in your mind, you're not imagining something and you're imagining how it's put together. You're imagining it as it is. So if I want to imagine a duck, I imagine the duck as it is. I don't imagine how it came from an egg or how it was conceived or, the atoms or particles in it. So it's a direct, like, appearance. So the way that we humans look at things is actually the opposite. We're always trying to analyze everything, break it down to its smallest form, which is going to bring it down to nothing. So if you really want to examine something, you have to examine it as it is in its complete form and see its essence. What is it doing? How does it behave? It'd be more about its behaviors, about its wishes, about its desires. What does this duck do? What makes a duck? And not the particles, not the going back to the very beginning of something, like breaking it down, but just what is it in its direct experience. So That is how things are created, and they're created right in the moment. So everything that you see is like a prism. It's like an illusion, like a rainbow. So if you think about the rainbow, we can see a rainbow in the sky. We can see the different colors. We can see that it's there, but can we touch it? Is it really there? No, it's not. And so there's many other things like this. There's so many things that especially animals use and see that we can't even see. There's a magnetic field that birds are flying through, and they literally see the lines that has now been discovered. And we don't see lines. We don't see a map. We don't see any of that. So it really depends on your senses, and the senses that a human has and what we perceive works a certain way, whereas a bird's works a different way. And so their perception of reality can be extremely different than ours. So all of this is very relative. Again, it's not concrete, it's not solid. And this can be kind of mind blowing to some, but it's really not in contradiction to anything. You can still believe and do whatever you've been doing. This is just the nature of our reality. And so things like science are every day coming out with new information about, like, let's say quantum physics would be one science that would really speak to what I'm talking about. So if you're interested in looking into that, you can. Now, I don't know a whole lot about quantum physics. I just know what, I read on the news, what I read online, things like that. But the way that I understand things from my experience, and when I hear about particles being one particle here is, in connection with a particle way somewhere outside of this world, um, that's the quantum entanglement. How does one particle affect a particle way out somewhere else? Well, that's easy in my eyes from what I've seen because everything is in connection. And so if I am here, I can definitely affect something out in space. I can affect something out in my yard with my dog, anything through my heart, through my emotions, through my attention, and that imagination that is happening. So it's just in thinking of it that it happens. So there's also science behind the heart now. There's so much more happening. And with the heart, they've actually done studies, and you can look into this, where a person is at home and just really thinking about a loved one and really loving them or thinking about them in a loving way, and away across wherever they live, maybe they live a few states away, or maybe they live on the other side of a country. They will measure the heart of the other person that's thinking or that they're thinking of, and that other person begins to have electrical activity in their heart without them ever communicating, without them ever knowing that the other person is thinking about them. It's just a connection like that. It's we are connected to literally everything, and you are everything. So it's no surprise that there is entanglement at all. But this puzzles people and has puzzled scientists, and a lot of people don't even want to accept a lot of the quantum stuff. A lot of people don't even want to read it or look into it. That's how how close some people are to the reality of our universe and what we are. So that's just one part, but of course, if you want to look way more into it, sure, go read quantum physics, but it's going to lead you to a spot where you're not going to be able to get any further than that because you're looking into the creation or the whatever's being imagined. That isn't the source. That is never the source. So you will never get to the source or knowing the void or any of that without the heart. So we can know a few things intellectually, but the truth of things is hidden in the heart. And in the heart, it does not really make a lot of sense, but we have been given lots of little breadcrumbs and clues along the way. There's many religions, many religious texts. There's different spiritualities. There are science, math, psychology, so many areas of study that if we really look into it, and now after I've had this shift, anytime I'm reading something or whatever, I see so many pointers to this. So it's no surprise. But as far as the question, here are a few verses from the Bible, actually. I grew up reading the Bible, so that is the text that most comes to my mind. And I'm not going to really sit there and like analyze all these other religious texts and things. I just pull up things that I already have. And come to find out, a lot of them have been repeated in other religions and things like that. So even if you are from another religion or something like that, or you had those beliefs in the past or whatever, you may hear similar verses or quotes and things within your religious texts that are similar to the ones I'm going to share with you here. And so these are just the ones that I grew up with. So it's what comes to my mind. And so these are the verses that I have here to share with you. Okay, so the first one is Mark 11:24, and here it says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." So this is exactly what I talk about when I'm talking about manifesting, when I'm talking about abundance, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Abundance is actually our birthright because everything, we are everything, and everything is us. And again, everything is coming from you. So from within. So when we look at this verse, it says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer." So we see there we have to ask. It's not just that, we just, things just come. We do have to have some intention there. We do have to ask. We have to feel into our heart what it is that we want. And then we have to ask with our soul, with our inner voice, or I like to just say it, speak out loud. I want, or I am going to have this, or I would like to have this, or I need this. And we don't necessarily need anything, but that's a lot of the verbiage that we use. So we do have to ask. And then it says, believe that you have received it. This is the most important part, in my opinion, because most of us do ask in some way or another. But most of us do not believe that we have received it. Almost no one believes that they have received it. That's faith. So you have to believe that you have received it, because if you don't believe that you have received it, you don't believe that you are everything. You don't believe that you have a direct connection with Source and that you are everything. So without that belief, it will never happen for you. You can manifest and do all these things all you want, but it's not going to happen. So you have to ask and really believe that you have received it, even before receiving it, even before even seeing any evidence that it will ever come. You have to believe that you have received it. Why? Because you are everything. This is easy. Of course it's coming. It may not come in this second, but of course it is coming. You have to believe it, that you have received it. And it will be yours. And so it's done. And so what I'd like to do is, after I ask and then I believe that I have received it, I just say, thank you, received, it's coming. So this is something that really, this is the prescription of abundance, period. There is no more to it. It is that easy. So when you make an order at a restaurant, you order food from the waitress. You expect the food to come. You're not sitting there worried, like, is the food going to come? Like, when is it going to come? Checking, asking the waitress over and over again. You just expect it to come, and it comes. So have that sort of energy with this as well. The other verse is also from Matthew 13:12. It's from 13:12. This one says, "Whoever has will be given more, and they will have abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them." So let me read that once again. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. So a lot of people will read that and get very confused. It's not confusing. Whoever has, whoever believes that they have something, will have more because they believe that they have it. They believe it, like the quote before it. It said, or say, believe that you have received it. Whoever has, if you believe that you have, then you will get more. But if you believe that you do not have, whoever does not have, whoever believes that they do not have, will not get any more. If anything, they will be taken from. Everything will break, things will be taken from them. Seems unfair, but it's because you're not recognizing your greatness. Recognize your greatness and declare it, believe it, that it is yours. Period. It's coming. Just like when you order something at the restaurant, it is coming. That is your divine birthright. Period. We are not here to lack, suffer, do anything like that. We are in God's image. We are great, and it is coming. So as soon as we can align with that, we have abundance. And these, I just happen to remember these. There may be many more in the Bible. I don't know. So if you know of anything, share with us down below in the comment section. These are two that just like popped out to me. And they fit so perfectly with how it works. Very simple, guys. Just believe that it is yours. Know your greatness and know that all these energies outside of you, you command them. They are all yours. Nothing is separate from you. All of it is yours. All of it. So it is that simple, friends. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you are new here and you like this content, please subscribe to my channel. I am still enrolling people into my unconditional course. It is at its lowest price ever. And this course will reorient you to the heart where all of abundance lives. This is where abundance lives, is in the heart. So if you're not connected to the heart, well, that would be the first step. So if you are interested in that, my information for the course is down below. I would love to have you as part of that course. Thank you so much for watching.